Hello, everyone, and welcome to the premiere episode of Dlight Sair, the podcast for everything Brawlhalla. My name is Taza, and I will be one of your two hosts for today's show. My co-host being none other than the world's best Brawlhalla player, Boomie. How's it going?
What's up, dude? We're also joined by Addymestic, power ranked #1 in Europe, and noeL. Cool guy, won a few tournaments here and then.
Well, I think you're still muted. Hold on.
Yeah.
No, I'm listening.
All right, we got you. Well, yeah, you were listening.
Okay.
It's fun, too. It's a podcast.
How's it going?
Yeah, it's going pretty all right. We have a few things to talk about today, particularly final round, but I'd like to get into the habit of being able to talk about everything Brawlhalla outside of the things that are going on in tournaments. So I was thinking that we could start off with a little bit of Brawlhalla news, starting with the Legend rotations and other news like that with the patch, as well as a recap over the Winter Championship to get us started. You can take us from there, Boomie.
Okay, I just pressed the wrong scene. Okay, so starting off with our Legend rotation, got Koji, Ember, Val, Bran, Jiro, Isaiah, Ulgrim, and Cassidy.
Addy, you're still playing Val primarily, right?
Yeah, I am.
Okay. Do you feel like you don't want to only play Val primarily, or is that still just like?
Yeah, I feel like that, but that would also require a lot of time and effort to put in the game.
Wow, that's just like the.
I'm just trying to keep it efficient right now. One character, then I need to play as little as possible.
Okay.
But not. I think Val is enough to learn.
Yeah, no, Val's pretty sick. I mean, any Sword. Yeah. Sword has Sword really had anything happen to it ever in the past couple?
Sair nerf.
Sair got nerfed.
Yeah.
Okay, but other than that, in regards to how it's played.
Yeah, it's
it's pretty much the same.
Neutral are great.
Yeah.
Who else is on that rotation? Jiro.
Koji, noeL. noeL plays Koji.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think.
But everybody plays Koji now.
That's
really...
true.
Yeah. Blue plays Koji.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting. We're bringing these things up because with the Legends being in rotation, if you don't have all the characters that you knew, we've got these are the play. Am I pointing in the right direction?
Yeah, you are. You are.
Addymestic and noeL are the players to look at for these characters. Look at that. All right, I forgot that. Ordered differently. I'm looking at Discord and it's not on the stream.
Yeah, it's okay.
Does anybody play Ember anymore? I think Ember died with the Luxury.
Well, if you remember,
Pretty much.
Wrenched actually played Ember versus me in Winter Champs.
But then he scrapped it and then literally tweeted something about going back to his roots.
I think that was beforehand. I think he was tweeting that beforehand. Yeah, I mean...
I wasn't sure. Because when he went back to the Asuri, it looked a lot better.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Ember's pretty good. I think Ember's really good. Her sigs, the end sig on bow, is really good.
Yeah.
And then...
Isaiah's really good.
I mean, honestly... No, I'm kidding.
We were reviewing signatures of certain characters. So I think outside of laughing about it in this weird meta area, the reason why I think Isaiah suffers is because of how his signatures work and how as you hold him he travels. So lots of downtime. I don't know what the correct words are. Do you have an opinion on Isaiah, noeL, or Addymestic?
Not at all. I don't think he's that good, honestly.
We've had one player play the character. What could he
I don't think anyone plays him in EU.
What outside of canon just not being explored? Is there a really obvious thing where you're if Isaiah gets this, people would actually want to play him?
Honestly, I've experimented a bit with him, and his gun sigs are they're just. I think the gimmick where you move forward with the Gatling gun, the machine gun, is just really bad. It's not good for competitive.
Cool, though.
Yeah, well, yeah, but. It's just.
I mean, it looks really neat when it comes to the attention. Although sometimes I wonder, what's that one signature where the plane dives down and then he attacks, but the plane doesn't actually have any active hitboxes, so it can fly through people, and I feel like that should scoop people up. I don't know why they don't do it.
Honestly, I feel like weapon composition matters a lot, and I don't think guns and cannon compensate each other really well.
Right. Who's the
That's
Qatar Gauntlet legend?
Caspian.
Yeah, it's
that's another example
same situation.
Why would you do two of the same things, even though he might have there was that Caspian player in Winters, whose name's escaping me right now. In doubles, they were doing the neutral sig off the edge, and the bomb has that cool little trajectory where it goes up and then down to cover anybody guarding the edge. That's neat. It's too bad that he suffers from his weapon composition, as you said. But yeah, that does it for.
I tried him out with BCX.
Wait, you
Yeah,
actually
I-
you played him at BCX?
I did not
Yeah,
know
I
that.
played him.
Oh yeah, yeah, I
Against
remember.
who?
LDZ.
Against LDZ.
Uh,
I got 3-0.
yeah.
That was like my beginning and end of my Caspian career.
I can see doing that because like gauntlets and like he had some cool things like guitars from where maybe you like didn't have to totally know how to use guitars and you
Yeah.
use it for like Nair, but yeah, no, that you're right. I guess Isaiah and Caspian both follow under that line of like, oh cool, this character only has one weapon.
Pretty
The
much.
weaknesses overshadow the strengths so hard that Caspian is not that great.
Outside legend rotation, Brawl of the Week, Betrayal. I'm trying to remember this. It's a queue up against 2 other players in a 3-minute FFA game. Score 2 points for KOing an enemy. Lose 1 point for being KO'd. Can you survive? The shifting analysis.
Yo,
That sounds like this sounds like every board game played amongst friends ever, and that sounds like the worst, honestly.
Yeah,
You ever like play the 4-player board game and like somebody's losing, so they're just like, I'm gonna take down this guy because why not? And then you're like, why are you ruining everyone else's fun?
yeah, this is just the FFA queue, but with 1 less person and 1 less minute.
Which is kind of cool.
Yeah,
It's a good idea.
variety is good.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge proponent of free-for-all gameplay,
No.
but
Well, there are some things. Okay, actually, I'll counter that. I think there are some things that you can get out of free-for-all gameplay, and that is practicing the skill of learning to follow up off of another person's hits.
That's true.
Because this is something that you can
see
get
that.
into 2v2s. But if you're playing free-for-all, you can essentially pretend like every player is your teammate or your enemy, and if the enemy's hitting another person, you could be like, I'm going to try to convert off of that. And that's a skill that you can actually develop in that game. So take that, Boomie.
Yeah, maybe I need to play some free for all because
It's something to think about because that's a team skill that a lot of people in Brawlhalla are not good at. Like I see people running around just smacking anything that they can. Sometimes they're teammates, sometimes other things, and they don't like go into like okay, I'm gonna pretend like my teammate's an extension of my will, and they're gonna hit them into this place, and then I'm gonna follow up onto that instead of just trying to go for the usual whatever. That's something that I think is really beneficial from free for all. So actually, maybe get into Betrayal this week and do some stuff.
Yeah.
There you go.
You know,
Oh, go ahead.
another thing, like me and Sandstorm do this a little bit, is friendly twos is like kind of the same thing. It's just like with your own teammate. Like you can build that synergy there.
Yeah, no, that's obviously doable in 2v2s. I just think that like it's that much more hectic when like you have 3 enemies but also 3 teammates simultaneously.
Yeah,
like, depending on whoever, like whatever their mental is. Just like maybe somebody's just like, oh, I hate Mordex so much, I'm only gonna attack Mordex. Like I guess you're my teammate for this free for all. I don't think in Brawlhalla limited time Celestial and Sunken Chest skins. I don't know if there's anything in there you guys like in particular.
I can show them.
Brawlhalla players fiend after skins all the time. That Koji one was getting used so much in the Winter Championship.
It's the best skin.
The one
in the game.
the one that Sparky I kept missing the name up for. I still don't want to try to say it. I don't know if any of you want to take the plunge.
Shin Sakai Koji.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, I overthink it probably.
Yeah, it's not that deep, dude.
Fine. And then finally on this list, are you still on the weekly rotation news channel?
Yes.
Or thing, whatever list. We're going like from bottom up, but it works this way. The International Winter Championship, which you all 3 were participating in, and I was commentating portions of. We can talk about this a little bit. Do you want to start with NA or EU, Boomie? What do you think?
Let's start with EU 1v1.
Okay. Yeah, we've got essentially 4 brackets to kind of look at.
Yep.
I'm going to go out and say it. EU kind of was boring
Yep.
to me.
Blue
A
stomped.
little bit.
Blue stomped. It wasn't close.
And it wasn't like a, wow, look at, like, okay, Blue's a very solid player, but I did not get that wow feeling of, look at how much he prepared. Like, we're going to get to NA, but Boomie, you really felt like you had everything going for that tournament. And then there are other players that were doing really good things, but you crushed them. But in this case, it was like Blue did what he normally did, and everybody else was just not even close. And it was kind of worrying to watch. I'm hoping, and this is kind of the case with, maybe you 3 have different opinions, but I think this is the case with Winter Champs in general. It happened last year, where depending on whatever anybody was doing over the break, considering whether or not to keep playing, or if they were continuing to play, maybe they're picking up a new legend that didn't work out. We saw that in a lot of cases. Winter Champs always has some of the most depressing results.
Yeah.
Usually.
Yeah.
If I'm looking at EU in particular, I think the only thing that stood out to me was Daiku having a good run.
Yeah, Daiku,
Right?
5th
That was
place.
pretty What was that? What was that, Addy? But oh yeah, Addymestic. Why don't you tell us about the run that Daiku had? Who did he have to go through and lose his bracket?
I don't want to say a lot about that.
Okay.
I don't know. I kind of choked against Deku personally.
He looked better than he had. He looked a lot like what he did at He and Dobrain had this nice little 2v2 run at BCX where it for once it looked like Daiku was the team carrier instead of Dobrain, and it looked a little bit like that form in Winter Champs.
No, he was definitely solid.
Yeah, the match against Blaze was a little worrisome, but when he went into top 8, he was.
He played 4 games, then he was out. Tragic.
One way to look at it. Yeah, Machette did pretty well. Mordex, you gotta have that token Mordex. I think Machette's like the closest to Sandstorm when it comes to a developed Mordex in Europe, but not close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It feels like a lot of EU character picks are just like lagging a little behind, to be honest. I think Koji is just like Koji winning a tournament while Koji's like really, really good. It just doesn't make sense to me that like a Diana could be losing to that, or like a Mordex could be losing to that.
Expand on that. I'm actually curious.
I
want to see what noeL thinks about that too.
With Diana specifically, I definitely think that matchup is like heavily in Diana's favor. I think Guns beats like both bow and sword super hard, like really hard.
How heavy in Diana's favor though?
Like 65-35 at least, I think. Maybe 6-4. What do you think?
I think at most it's 6-4, but honestly I like Guns versus Bow. I think Bow does well against Guns.
I don't know,
because
like
it covers different like angles. Like, you know, Guns has Nair and then they Nair and they whiff. I got Dare.
Yeah.
They do they do recovery. I can do my recovery that chases them instead of like trying to like with sword. I'm like, okay, where's he gonna go with this recovery?
You know, and to expand on that, I like what you're saying about Guns because Guns typically play on the X or Y axis, right? Like they're just going straight across. So like if they're doing downlights or they're doing side lights or neutral lights, any of that is hitting in front of them, and you can land with a down air or even pick them up with an air. There's a ton of things that you could do with Bow to get in if you're not playing a ground heavy playstyle.
Yep.
What do you think, Boomie?
Yeah, well, mainly I just think, while I agree with that, like Bow can play around like Guns playing mainly on the ground or mainly in the air. I still think Guns outranges Bow enough in neutral to like just destroy it.
Like a spacing argument. Like if you're good enough, those things shouldn't apply because your range is that much better.
Yeah, and like the main option I think for Bow to like get in to Guns like spacing you out is Dlight.
Dlight, yeah.
And with Gun GC Dlight, it just like totally stuffs that.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you bring gravity canceling in, it kind of shifts the plane of influence that you've got. Adam, were you about to say something?
I was gonna say something.
Like, I was
go
just
ahead.
gonna
Sorry.
that gun downlight definitely stuffs it out.
Yeah, but it depends. I mean, like, you gotta run into the downlight. So when you're playing footsies, and they're not gonna do it on reaction. A lot of things in Brawlhalla, you're not doing it off reaction. So they're gonna be like, okay, I think he's going in now. Yeah. And with that, you can time your downlight. It's just really hard. So the Bow player has to be really good in order to. I think they can make the matchup 5-5. Honestly, if they're really, really good, they're really quick, and they understand the matchup. I think Bow can do good against Gun, but it's tough.
What about Sword?
Sword versus Guns or Sword versus Bow?
Sword versus Guns.
Oof.
What do you think too, Addy?
I think it's 5-5.
Yeah, I would
agree. Honestly.
Yeah, when I look at that matchup, I see a lot of things that Sword and Guns can do to complement and destroy each other, depending. I think the biggest thing that Sword has that really makes it like even or even better matchup is the recovery.
I think Nair makes it even better.
Yeah, Nair.
Yeah, that's true. Just everything that it has hitting upwards and how safe it is. You're not putting yourself out there, really. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, if you're like dash jump, or you're falling and you do a late Nair, can't you pop people up off the ground?
Yeah.
So that's like incredible. I like to before we move on from the Gun Bow discussion, I kind of liked where you guys compromised, which was that it sounded like at the moment the effort versus like end game of the weapons right now favors what Boomie's saying, which is that guns do very well. I guess like, oh, how do I put this? It felt like that you have to be really good at guns, and if you're really good at guns, it's going to win over bow. But the bow has enough tools, and it's easier to succeed on to make the matchup closer to even than you think. That's what it sounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think playing guns is really like heavily reaction based.
Okay.
With how like you have to utilize spot dodge a lot. So, yeah.
Yeah, and because you're utilizing spot dodge for your attacks,
yeah,
you have to space incredibly well. I think one of the things that we talk about with Axe is that like a lot of players, I think, or at least I know you, Boomie, think the weapon's not very good. But I think that a lot of the reason why people succeed with the weapon as much as they do is because of their spacing.
Yeah.
But on top of the subject for EU 1v1, I think outside of that discussion, we kind of covered everything. And then Blue and Simple, if we switch right over to the 2v2 bracket, they also were in, what do you know, they were in the grand finals for that too, and they won that.
Yeah.
They looked really strong.
3-0, 3-0, 2-0. Did they lose a single game?
I don't know. In twos?
Yeah, it doesn't look like they lost a single game.
Yeah, I don't think they did.
Wow.
Addy, if you have any comments about EU 2v2. Usually you and Cake are destroying everything, although this time I think you guys, you got fourth.
Yeah, we had a rough winners bracket game against Ariel or Hermes, and don't really remember what happened. I think we got best of 3'd. Losers bracket, we had a solid lucky game against Fizz and Zyder, and then we just crashed. I don't know what happened.
Honestly, yeah, oh, go ahead. Finish your thought.
I just think there's a winner championships curse. Every winner championships just, you never know what's gonna happen. First turn of the year, off season just behind, so.
Right, and I like I was mentioning earlier, there's like the three things that people could be doing. Either A, they're just refining what they did all 2018.
Mm-hmm.
B, they're starting a new character, or they think that they have to approach the game differently, or they're like approaching a new weapon. Or C, they're just not playing the game as much because they're not sure if they're going to keep playing the game.
Yeah.
And all of it can lead to a like, holy crap, this guy is a nutter now, or oh no, this is what happened to me. I think in this case, I was scoffing at this earlier when you said best of 3'd, but I think you and Cake have more 3-0 comebacks than any other two.
I would probably say so, yeah.
In the world, and it takes you to that long to warm up. It feels like, and I at first I was like going like, but you know what? No, really. Well, again, the Blaze Acno set, I felt like if that was in a best of 5, you may have come back and won the entire thing. It's really interesting to think about. It's definitely a weakness. You should be able to get games off in the first 3.
Yeah.
But I like that you brought that up. noeL, what do you think about the whole best of 3 versus best of 5 thing?
I think best of 5 really shows who the better player is, or players, honestly, because it shows how consistent you have to be. You can't just beat someone twice and you're good.
Do you ever feel like that, like after something happens, you sit back and you go, "Wow, I got best of 3"?
No, never.
No?
Yeah,
okay.
no.
So it's just definitely just like an Addy thing.
I mean, other people think that way too, but I feel like, I don't know. I believe in like controlling the situation and always trying to be on.
That's
like,
good.
If I think I'm better than someone else, I think I should be able to come back from a 3-1 stock deficit pretty much in that same game and not be too over.
Even with how string heavy of a fighter Brawlhalla is outside of combo heavy, you still feel that way.
For sure.
What do you think?
That's fair.
Yeah, I agree. I think adaptability is like key in this game right now, because our metagame isn't like super refined yet, I don't think. So it's a lot about
definitely not.
It's a lot about the individual and how well they can adapt to each individual matchup, because there's not like things set in stone for how to play.
Even to add more onto that, in regards to lack of refinement, I think that cannon is a weapon with potential that has not seen any development.
Yeah.
And, okay, why'd you give me a little laugh there? What was that about?
It's just the clunkiness of cannon is so hard to transition onto if you're not
clunkiness for me.
How like the combo game works and how like you have to input certain things is like totally unique to cannon. Like Dlight Sair doesn't feel like a Dlight Sair on sword or like a Dlight Sair on guns or anything. Like it's just really weird to transition onto cannon and then go back, I think.
Just any other different timing.
Yeah, it's different timing.
Yeah. Okay. Have you messed with cannon at all, Addy?
Yeah, just for fun. I think it's pretty clunky. it has a weird time covering some specific angles.
Yeah.
And I
Can you give one example? If not, it's okay.
Maybe
The first thing I think of when you mention angles is Sair. Like, I think that Sair's weird.
Yeah.
It is pretty weird, yeah.
Yeah.
And just neutral is just weird to play. It's kind of like Gauntlets, where it's not a very linear kind of like neutral.
Yeah. It reminds me of Axe and how the like combo starter is like extremely punishable with Dlight, and same with Axe Sidelight. It's like it's reactable and well, it's mildly reactable. noeL would argue with me on that.
It's not reactable, dude.
But
wait, what's unreactable?
We had this thing where people were saying that Axe Sidelight was reactable. And
Okay.
I tested everyone's theory, and it's not, because what happens is people will. It's like a kind of predicted reaction. It's more of a prediction than a reaction, where someone's like, okay, he's about to sidelight me. You don't literally see someone sidelighting you and you press dodge. That's impossible.
Okay, yeah.
So,
Because I don't remember the numbers of this. It'd be cool to look it up. But there's
But
something.
a lot of players make it obvious when they want to sidelight.
Yeah.
That's why
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
oh, okay. One player that's
So-
really good at not making it obvious is like it's really hard for me to dodge. For me personally, to dodge his sidelights because he
Which
makes
player
it
the name cut out?
Isidore.
Isidore.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
He's
Excellent.
incredible. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like that, the distinction between reaction and prediction. It's a big difference. I think that there are a lot of players that are like totally reactive with how they play, and then there are other ones that are trying to read their opponent. And you can see like when those two playstyles clash, when one person has something that's way better than the other, just crumble. Like, how do I put this? I don't think Kostelix is a very reactive heavy player. For example, I think that he is more of like, he sets things up, he creates traps for people, especially like the dash dance move and stuff, and then he'll try to get people into some crazy lance conversions that just kills them like an orange. But like when I was watching him play against Simba, it was like Simba's a little bit more reactive. He's not so much of a brain player, I guess, in a sense, and he completely just it would look so bad. I think we even had like that video from, I'm talking about Winter Champs, by the way.
Yeah.
Very recently. We could even look at a video of that later, but I think that we're lingering a little bit too much on the EU 2v2. Look really closely at the NH 1v1s and 2v2s for Winter Champs, and then we'll move a little bit more forward with the topics that we've got today. Have you switched brackets? Yes, so NA 1v1s.
NA 1v1, so many upsets. So many
Sure.
upsets in
Sure,
early.
let's start with the round of 32, because this was kind of like, I remember watching this and going, whoa, like what is this? What? Okay, noeL.
What am I looking at?
noeL Crocky. Let's talk about it. I want to, because Addymestic dodged the Dyken conversation, but I want to hear about
okay.
this. And you cannot say I got best of 3. Okay.
No, I think Crocky was playing good. Game 1, I beat him with Missouri, and I went into the set saying, okay, you know you're supposed to play Koji in this matchup. I really like Koji for Crocky as a player and against his character. So,
can you give one example, like one primary example, why you think that?
again, like, I feel really good at both versus guns, unless it's Boomie, it's harder. But against other gun players, they just, I don't know, they just lack in the like knowledge of the matchup or whatever I'm trying to say. But yeah, it just works a lot. And another thing Crocky does a lot that rewards me by playing Bo is he'll do Sair. And remember when I was talking about predictions and reactions? With Bo, if someone does jump Sair, it's just one button and like boom. And he gets hit by it over and
That's
over.
right. And like feels so good, and you can act so quickly out of it. And it could lead to so much more.
So if he's white, you know, I get Endlight Nair, all that. It's a really good matchup. But for some reason, I was like, I want to see if I can just do it with a Siri. Stuck with a Siri. Then game 2 was really, really, really close. It was one hit away. And game 3, he just outplayed me.
Wow.
And I know he's a player that could do it too. Like, I wasn't surprised when I lost. I wasn't shocked or anything. I just, next time I'll probably pick
That's so cool to me though, because even though I said don't say you got best of 3, in a way, if it was a best of 5 at that point in the set, you would have switched to the Koji. I feel like. Or do
Not
you think
because
you-
it's
no.
not because it's winners. No.
Oh,
I like
okay.
testing stuff online. I'm
All
gonna
right.
be honest. I like testing stuff online. So.
No, that's good.
Stuff,
I like to hear about that.
Now, if we were at final round,
Mhm.
I would have started off with Koji. But let's say I
Yeah.
didn't start off with Koji, and I lost twice with the Siri. I would switch if
Okay.
it was offline.
That's actually really insightful. What else happened here? Wilson smashed phase on early on. Oh, what was?
Yeah.
Say something.
Wait, what?
No,
Sorry,
I wasn't gonna say anything.
Okay.
Okay.
Anyways, all these ones apart from the top two, I thought were gonna be like super swingy, and they were really swingy. Like Kha'Zix over Remy, not that much of an upset, honestly, but I still would have expected Remy to win.
Santi over Isidru.
Yeah, Santi over Isidru, Simba
I
over
didn't
low
even know
capped.
that happened.
Probably the biggest one is Santi over.
Yeah, Santi over Isidru.
Whoa.
Because if any of those top seeds in that bottom 4 matches would have won, I think they would have made it to winners finals. Because I think
Yeah.
that the strength of schedule and like the bracket was way easier after all those
And
upsets
in
happened.
a way, I also feel like the upsets enabled Simba to make the
Yeah.
winners bracket run that he did.
Yeah.
When I look at it, because then the players that he got to play against, because he got to go against Santi, which perhaps he had more practice against. It was still close. It was 2-1. And
Yeah.
then, like I talked about earlier, he reactioned Kha'Zix to death. He didn't care at
Yeah.
all about Kha'Zix's neutral game.
Mhm.
Double Dime taking a game off Wrenched is impressive to me.
Yeah, and that's
Oh.
after Double Dime beat Ethan.
Yeah, there we go. That's
Oh, really?
Yeah, and that put
What?
Ethan out at 17th because Remy lost.
I did not.
that's the next big upset.
Yeah.
After Santi Isidru.
Yeah.
Double Dime Ethan. Yeah, for sure.
Dang.
And
That's right, because Remy took him out.
I think Ethan felt like really confident going into this tournament. I think he thought he was gonna get like
of course he
very
should.
far.
He had an amazing 2018. He was like, what he got that
Most
rookie of the
improved
year.
player, yeah.
Yeah, most improved.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Oh.
it's incredible. What?
The next one's probably I throw over Sandstorm, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna be here jawning for Sandstorm, but
I know.
he definitely lagged off the stage in game 2, and then had a mental implosion going into game 3.
Wow.
So
That's
that
yeah,
is
that's-
tragic.
And then Wrench just took Ithro out. Yeah.
Yeah.
That
and,
was pretty fast.
and you know what happened after Sandstorm lost? He messaged me on Discord. He was like, "I'm lagging. I don't know what to do." Now I referred him to exit lag using code Crocky.
Oh,
He installed it and he
Yeah.
placed top 8.
that's true.
Okay, dude.
And moving on to top 8, actually. I don't know. Like, top 8 was wild. Phazon making that insane losers run after losing to Wilson. All the way to 4th
Oh.
place. And Wilson out to noeL, too. Surprising.
I loved the Phazon run. I thought it was so fantastic. I think he took an underdeveloped character and made everybody go, what the heck does this character do? Like, I felt like it was back in the days where people went like, Hattori, her signatures are so fast, you can't react to them, or whatever, like in 2016.
hmm
But, like, made it with Jiro. Because some of the things he was doing, I watched him against Sandstorm. I even have, like, if we want to, we can watch. But there's, like, moments where, like, Phazon would, like, cover areas of the stage with his down sig or other signatures because the character phases forward, and if it doesn't hit, he stays in the same place. And Sandstorm didn't even know where to hit. Like, he was trying to hit places where, like,
He
Phazon
wasn't.
actually at.
Yeah.
It was very interesting to see. And he took out Wrenched, and he almost beat Kha'Zix. Like, it was
Close.
that was something.
Yeah. Speaking of Kha'Zix, he actually made a really good run
Yes.
to 3rd place. I was not expecting that. Honestly, this entire top 8 I wasn't expecting.
I remembered in the cast, I was actually predicting that he was going to be in top 2 in grand finals because of how he looked. But what happened with Simba was it. I still don't really. I
Yeah.
still don't really know.
And switching to Vrax too, I don't know. It just felt like he wasn't comfortable.
Who mentioned
That's right.
what's the thing that Vrax unlocks?
Dlight and Light on Lance.
Yes. That's why I honestly think that is it. Period. I think that is the only reason why he picked Vrax, and I don't think it was a good enough reason.
Yeah.
But at least I can justify it.
Yeah.
Maybe he has more input onto that that I'd love to see at a future time. But he looked really good. He showcased that Scarlet. I mean, his Scarlet was good before the change to neutral sig. If you want to go into what that was exactly, a lot of players were memeing about Scarlet and sig.
Yeah, I mean, the hitbox just got like re-hitbox to totally match the animation, which is
Yeah,
yeah.
but isn't it like the same power at all points?
Yeah, it's weird, and like there's a hitbox that can go straight up. But honestly, like Kha'Zix isn't the kind of player that would really benefit from that anyway, because he mainly sticks to Lance like 95% of the
I
game.
mean, there was some of it in his doubles with Joke Down. If we want to look
yeah.
over, like, we can switch over to the
Yeah, we can go to
the
2v2.
2v2.
Yeah.
Because I think we covered most of the crazy stuff in ones was like
Yeah.
before
and
we
before
even
top.
streamed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this. Phazon and Remy losing to Joke Down and Kosalix.
Okay, they had like that stupid Dlight stuff. Did you guys know about the black hole before going into that tournament, noeL, Addy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it's real. Can't
No,
you
it
get
is.
it?
Yeah, it's real.
It's real. TWK, when he was watching, I remember this. It's just like he was like in the other room. We come back and he looks at me. He's like, "We're patching." I was like, "Okay." like it definitely like got through the cracks. Maybe like it's not real the entire time, but it's real enough for it to like.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. That was interesting. Joke Down and Kosalix just in twos in general.
I
What
knew
else
they
was
would be
there?
the ones to upset somebody.
Yeah.
I wasn't really that surprised.
Yeah. And Phazon and Remy, I don't know. Something just I felt like they were going to choke. I feel like Remy online is just like not as strong as he is on LAN. And it used to be the opposite. It used to be the opposite. And now I feel like it's mainly online that he's good.
If I had to look at Brawlhalla and describe an inconsistent player, I would put Dash Remy and end it there. That's just how it is. And that's not me saying Remy, you suck. It's just being like Remy, he could win every event that he goes into, but every single bracket match that he fights, starting from the round of 256, he could potentially lose.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so terrifying for me to root for a player like Remy, because it's like you're really sick, but it just depends on the timing.
Yeah.
So you're right, it's definitely not surprising. Santi and McSlammy.
Yeah, what happened there? What happened there?
They made it in the top 8.
They beat Ilyu and Crocky. Oh, I think they beat Twilight and Tiffany, or Starlight and Tiffany.
Yeah.
And then made it all the way to top 8. Who'd they beat? They beat Pugsy and Bacon. That's actually pretty good. That's pretty good. Egg Soup and LDZ out 13th. Twilight, Starlight and Tiffany out 13th also.
How did you feel fighting against Phazon and Remy, noeL? Because that was a close set. That was a 2-1 thing.
Was it? I don't even remember.
Yeah, 2-1.
Okay, then we'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
No, I'll bring back some memories. I got you.
Sure, let's do it.
I don't know. I knew they were the better team as of now, but I'll like by saying that I know that the better team doesn't always win. All right, let's see what we can do and try to make an upset. Did we win game 1? Can you remind me of that?
I don't remember.
No, it was they won game 1 and then they won game 3.
Right, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, we lost game 1, and then that's when I was like, well, it's do or die. We won 1, and yeah, I think they just outplayed us, honestly. They coordinate better. They understand who's better.
Yeah.
They were just a better team.
Yeah, the NA 2v2 had that crazy, like, love triangle.
Switch,
of, like, of everybody switching a teammate. It was like this weird thing. And I think the people that succeeded the least was
Ethan and Lil Capt.
Because I've always seen Little Capt as like the follower in his team.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Ethan was much of the same. So it was kind of like the weakest trait in a sense. Even though they're both very strong players individually, doubles requires a different skill set than other game
That is true.
for sure. Outside that, the last thing I want to talk about with 2v2s was I'm just gonna say I love Cody Travis's play in twos. I think he's incredible in 2v2s, beyond a doubt. How did you Did you even feel pressured, Boomie, when you were with Sandstorm against them? You did lose a game in Grand Finals, but it was a 3-1. And the first time you encountered them, you 2-0'd them pretty handedly. You think that in some time that's gonna be like, wow, we gotta be careful about these two.
I kind of feel that way about everyone going into every match, always being cautious, but I definitely believe that Cody Travis, since he's not as strong in 1v1, he's not a bad player by any means, he's top 32 easily, but since he's not as strong, that's really where we focused. And honestly, how me and Sandstorm play in general is we try and just win the 1v1s because of our strength in 1v1.
Even though your team combos looked better together than you had with any previous teammates, I think.
Well, me and Remy never did that.
You never practiced?
No, we never practiced.
I also think Scythe really makes it.
Yeah, Scythe enables that, by a lot.
Not downplaying
the
weapon and its difficulties, but active.
But yeah,
It's insane.
and kind of on top of that, like Scythe off stage, that's like where we won. We just won with Scythe off stage because of their inability or just like weakness there. It's not as good, I don't think.
Do you have any comments on Cody Travis's legend? He's the only Barasa representative, like main Barasa.
Yeah, but I think Cody Travis just like the way he can use those signatures like that I would never expect to be used is like a very good thing for him. And I think that's really good for him. Like
that's one of the cool examples of like, character identity. Like Cody Travis identifies with Barasa in Brawlhalla. Just like how like a lot of Smash players will have like a main. Brawlhalla's really cool to me because you can be either a weapon main, a character main, or like, I mean that's essentially it, right? But like you have like I was gonna think of a third thing.
I was like, hey, where's he going with this?
Because you got people that are like, you got Koslix, he's a Lance player. We don't say that he's a Scarlet player, we say he's a Lance player. But with Cody Travis, he's a Barasa player, and he embodies his signatures. Anyways, I cut you off. You were continuing with like how it's beneficial for him that he's good at that.
Oh yeah, like I died in the last game of the set to a signature that I had no idea hit, like where it hit me. So it's just like, it's...
Yeah, Barasa has a lot of like grab out of something and kill your sigs.
And
that's true.
That's another thing that like... Yeah, that's another thing that applies to me too. Like, although there's like other gun players in Brawlhalla, I feel like there's nobody that's like a gun main in the same like sense that I am, and that's like super beneficial for me.
Ever since Effie left.
Yeah, Effie and
nobody.
Daiku off of Diana and LDZ onto. Well, LDZ plays guns, but
he does.
LDZ doesn't.
That's true.
He doesn't.
But he's also still like trying to come back to his proper form. I feel like too.
Yeah, it's just the matchup knowledge that you gain like over your opponent just by being the only person that plays that certain thing is like actually crazy.
And then would I be wrong to say that Crocky's a spear main more than a guns player?
Yeah, Crocky's definitely a spear player. More than anything else.
So I was thinking, even though he's been bringing the Ada back, it's still good old Crocky. I love that he's the only one that uses ground pound. It's so much fun.
He kills with spear.
He kills with spear ground pound. I'm like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen, but I don't care. It works. I think that just about does it for the Winter Champs recap. That was actually a lot more than I was expecting, but I liked everything that we talked about. Addy, unfortunately, had to be a little silent through all of that, but if you have anything to add, it's okay. I know that you're primarily EU focused.
Yeah.
And
nothing to add, honestly. I mean,
that's
I
okay.
agree.
That's good. What were you saying, Boomie?
I actually have a question for Addy. I feel like throughout like 2017, you were like either the only or one of the only like Gauntlet representatives.
Yeah.
And how did like I feel like more people have been picking it up since then. Like, has that impacted you at all? Like people feel better against you?
I think it was pretty rough for me, honestly, because since I was basically the Gauntlet representative for EU, that means I didn't actually have any good matchup experience against Gauntlets because I was the Gauntlets player. So for a while, personally, I struggled a lot against Gauntlet in like Gauntlet mirrors, basically.
That's interesting.
But yeah, it's a lot of people have been picking it up and had varying results. But I wouldn't say like there has popped up a Gauntlet main in EU.
Something's starting to make sense to me now.
What's that?
Like, a lot of people weren't playing Sword at the level I was playing, and then I caught myself like starting to lose to a lot of Sword mirrors. Like I lost Sword mirror to Cat at Worlds, and I might have lost someone else versus Sword. Like I just kept losing. Oh, to Wrenched at Montreal and Winners, and it was because I felt like I didn't have that, the matchup knowledge in the mirror or like against any Sword player that was playing at my level, and then they started catching up, and I was like, oh crap. Yeah. Crazy.
Are you like, what I'm getting at is like an implied kind of, not necessarily disrespect, but thinking of like, oh, this is my weapon I've got developed, I don't have to worry about this, and then you found out that yes, you did.
Yeah,
that too. And it's just impossible to, I don't want to say it in a rude way, but it's impossible to practice against yourself.
Right.
Other people are playing the catch-up game, and you're just gonna wait.
I know
You have
this
to
isn't.
adapt.
I know this isn't Brawlhalla related, but this immediately made me think of like, and you probably didn't watch this, but there was a summit, a Super Smash Bros. Melee Summit match where 2 Saint versus HBox happened, and it was a Jigglypuff Ditto, and it was incredibly close. Even though 2 Saint's not even anywhere near the level of HBox's Puff, and would like lose in top 32 to anybody else. He
Yeah, I
took that to
watched
game
that.
5, and that I think embodies what you two just described,
Yeah,
which is kind of
exactly.
like, how the heck
Yeah.
do I practice against somebody else who, for some reason, finally decided to develop the way that I'm playing? That's very insightful. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I feel that kind of thing happened to me at BCX 2017 too, with guns. Like LDZ just stomped me in gun dittos at BCX
yeah.
2017.
That did happen, and that came out of nowhere. I remember.
Yeah, that came out of
what
nowhere.
can LDZ not do? Like I remember everybody was like, "What? He can do everything," and it just didn't like. It didn't make sense to me because I was approaching it from the thought of, "Wait, Boomie plays this weapon all the time. He should know what's going on." That's what I was thinking. So that's cool. I like that we brought that up.
Okay.
I think that does it for Winter Champs and the recap, as
Yep.
well as a little bit of discussion on players in that area, which we'll go a little bit more in depth in as we get towards the primary realm of things that we want to talk about today, which is final round. But we'll talk a little bit about the events that are coming up later this month, but earlier than
Yep.
final rounds. I don't know if you switched over
Yep.
the graphic, but you can start talking about it.
So we have, one sec. We have the Southeast Asia Winter Championship, Brazil Winter Championship, and Australia Winter Championship happening this weekend.
They're
I'm
all
gonna be
happening
on.
this weekend,
Yeah,
right?
they're all happening this weekend. They
Yeah,
all
it's
have
like really weird times.
Yeah, 'cause
obviously
different
they're
regions.
International regions. Yes.
Yeah.
I think I speak for everybody when I say that outside of the players that play in this region, not a lot is known about these regions competitively. Besides
Yeah.
the people that win all the time, and each one of these regions typically have a person that wins all the time.
Yep.
I think if you got
Except
like
Australia nowadays. Australia is
Oh.
a huge question mark.
that's true.
Yeah. Like
Southeast
Wright,
Asia
Kyler
has been
Ellis.
Pretty clear.
Yeah, Tiger since 2016. It was Kreutzberg in 2016 for Brazil, and then Fiend twice.
Fiend.
Fiend
Yeah.
twice now. And
Fiend's
Fiend
actually
Fiend is
insane.
really good. Fiend is like the most.
Nice.
He's like the most respected player out of those regions so
Would
far.
you say that? So you're saying out of all those regions, when it comes to like, if we took the top,
Internationally, yeah.
he would be the one that you feel like would have the most success in a more developed region, like.
Yeah, I mean, he got 17th at BCX.
That's right.
That's nuts.
He outplaced Dobrain, I think. I think
Yeah.
Dobrain got 25th.
Well, that is really exciting. I think the graphic that you've got shown right now gives the times, right?
Yep.
And does it give the time zone? I think they're all in EST, right?
Probably. So
Yeah.
9 p.m. to 1 a.m., 1 p.m. to 5 p.m., and then 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. again.
That's those all.
Yeah, that is
You'll know
rough.
that if you pull a Dobrain and you stay up for 28 hours straight, you'll be able to catch all of them.
Oh, God.
And it will be great. I'm excited to see how the production works on those. What else do we have? The 2 other online tournaments that are coming up.
March of Legends.
March of Legends. I like this because we are separating the EU and NA weekends. Usually, both regions kind of get shafted by because of how production has to work. We get them happening both on the same days, but we've got dedicated weekends for both of these tournaments. Decent prize pool. It's going to be showcasing the region in particular. It's going to be an online tournament. I think either hosted by Brawl League or Bagel, one of the two. I try to remember.
I feel like they're the same now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like Bagel
I've done-
League, whatever.
You know, get to the rebranding, and then finally, what we've been waiting for all day.
Final round
Final round,
2019.
yes. The first big LAN of the year. I know that all of us will be in attendance.
Yep.
In particular, I'm trying to remember who were the other EU players besides Addy that are going.
So I think it's gonna be me, Cake, Dobreen, and Daiku. I'm not 100% sure on Daiku, but me, Dobreen, and Cake, for sure.
Okay.
I think Daiku's one.
Yeah, Daiku. Yeah.
Actually, do you have that preview bracket before we did predictions that you could put on?
Yes, I can.
Perhaps, so that we can talk a little bit about the players. So a little bit about final round. It is in Atlanta, Georgia. It's actually right out of the airport, I think. Right? Like it's in the hotel that's right out of the airport. It's gonna be the easiest commute in the history of Brawlhalla lands.
Mm-hmm.
It's the first big LAN of the year. Do we want to talk a little bit about You know what, Boomy? I think I'll let you spearhead the discussion based off what you think we need to do in what order.
Okay, so notable people that aren't going to be in attendance are Blue, Agzo, and Viper. I think those are the main three from EU that won't be there. I would expect them to be at CEO.
CEO for sure.
Yeah, and maybe Low Tier City, maybe DreamHack Dallas. I'm not sure.
Yeah, possibly. DreamHack Summer for sure as well.
Yeah, and I think most NA players are going. Other than that, I can't. Can you think of anyone, noeL, that is from NA that isn't?
I know we talked about Stevenator's not on the list. Right?
Yeah, Stevenator's not on the list, but it's mostly just every top player is going. Yeah, Eggsoup is going.
Yeah.
Everyone is
I can't
going.
think of anyone that's not going.
Yeah, when I look at
It
this
could be
list,
like
it's
BCX.
essentially NA and then
Without
EU.
the EU players
Yeah.
that aren't going. Yeah, good.
And notable team swaps actually that are happening for 2v2. Koslix and Daiku is a team that's
Wait,
happening.
Really?
Yep, and Tiffany and
Is Daiku going to be playing Lance? Has Koslix teamed with a non-Lance player?
Velocity Brown.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Awesome.
Was he Koslix and Wrenched at DreamHack Montreal, I think?
Okay, that's right.
Yeah, it was.
wrong?
Yeah.
That too.
Mhm.
I've been so used to the online events where he's been with
Yeah.
Jake and somebody else.
What were you gonna say about Tiffany? Who's she teaming with?
So I'm not sure if it's confirmed yet, but Dobrain told me that Tiffany and Dobrain might be a thing that's happening. So
It might be.
might be. Well, who else is Dobrain gonna team with? He doesn't have
Daiku.
Daiku. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's
When's the last
happening.
time Starlight's had results like outside of getting into top 32? I'm trying to think.
He
It's
gets
been a long time.
he gets
since
top 8 and 2s. He gets top 8 and
Yeah,
2s
top-
occasionally.
That's
He
right.
got 5th at BCX, I think, in 2s
Oh, yeah.
with Tiffany.
Yeah, they-
Never mind then.
Beat me and I too.
Yeah.
I take that back. I was just thinking that like, I guess I didn't when I don't cast the games in particular, it doesn't sit in my memory as much. But you're right. He had that B6 showing.
Yeah.
That's possible. Yeah, I guess like if he can't get Tiffany to work out, he could team with Starlight. But other than that, you're right. Like in terms of like the player economy, because like the weird thing about LANs in general is that with online tournaments you can team with whoever, but if you can't get your teammate out there or for whatever reason they can't show up, you have to find somebody or just not enter twos at all.
Mm.
And the ladder is usually not what you want. You'd rather like team with a complete
Random.
person. than
Yeah.
not take-
Okay. You want to just jump into predictions now?
Yeah, so we all of us did predictions of what we think is going to happen based off the top 32 seeded players that are going in. And we've got some spicy. We've got some, yeah. How should we do it? Should we like view one person's at a time?
Yeah, one person at a time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I have noeL's open right now.
All right, let's do it. I'll look at noeL.
Okay, first thing I see.
Let's start.
Nice, noeL. I like it. I like where your head's at.
So Boomie beats question mark.
And then LDZ takes me out.
Okay. Whoa. Wait.
Hold the phone.
What is it? Why is LDZ taking Boomie out? No.
He's a talented guy. He could take him out.
You think so? You think he's prepared enough?
He has at least a 30% chance of taking him out.
That's
I
good.
think everyone has a chance to
Yeah,
beat
that's fair
anyone.
enough.
Yeah, anyone. Yeah.
And it might just be his day.
Okay.
On
We
it.
have LDZ making it to
Hard break.
semis.
He still understands how to play the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Ellie-
like I don't think.
And he's gonna do better against Boomie than he would the Penguin.
Okay.
That's true.
Like,
Okay.
I'm being honest. Like, seriously,
Yeah.
he'll do a lot better against Remy or me or Wrench than he would do against, let's see who's on this bracket.
Jester, Winged
Yeah, or
Shell.
Winged Shell.
How
Yeah,
do you think Hay would do against Simba?
he would get
Probably lose.
stomped. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think he'd get
probably lose.
stomped.
For
Yeah.
sure.
Okay. I actually. Okay, I agree with that. So you're saying, in regards to the chance that he has to make it, it's more likely he gets through the tournament favorites than he does get through like any of the middle of the pack players.
Yeah, you could say that.
Wow, you have him beating all these other people too.
Yeah, that's what I was.
Kosalix and Isidru.
And then he beats Noel.
So I agree that he actually no. I agree that he could beat Kosalix. I think
Yeah.
Kosalix is really
Yeah.
he's super linear the way he plays. Isidru is like exactly what I think about when I think about someone that would beat LDZ. Like the sig use, the how unprepared he's gonna be. For
I get you, but it's just his day, all right? It's just his day.
okay, it's his day. Okay, you have iPhone Grand Finals. Oh my god!
Dreaming Winters was
Oh
a prophecy.
my
Okay.
god!
So
I'm coaching now, dude.
Something happened between noeL and iThrow that.
I actually, the night before, I forgot to talk about this when we were talking about Winners. The night before Winners, I helped him a lot, and I've been wanting to do it for a while, but I kept forgetting to like help his ones. Like, I understood what he was doing wrong, and I never even like showed him or explained to him like, hey, I thought you should be doing this, do this, blah blah blah. And I went through all that, and he played so much better the next day. It was good, and he ended up beating me, so it was good stuff. Hopefully, he can keep doing that. Do better. Yeah.
Do you think iThrow has the loser's bracket mentality? Like, I see you have him losing to STTP Wilson in this early round or pools, and then he takes out all these people. I think
as long as he gets the follow, like the first
win after loss, yeah. Okay, maybe.
You have him beating Simba though. Honestly, I think iThrow might just drown.
Yeah, I actually in my bracket I also have those two players matching up, and I'm basing it mostly off of Winters and BCX. Simba actually beat iThrow at BCX.
Yeah.
And Simba did really well at Winners.
That's right. He
got second.
We'll see. I will say this: if you beat Simba and losers, then I could see this.
This run happening, yeah. Maybe not like Faison beating Wilson after losing to him in Winners, but yeah.
Addy, have you ever played against Double Dime?
Yeah, I don't think so. Besides 2017 crew battles.
So why are you doing my boy Addy like this, noeL? What's the deal?
I think Double Dime's
up, man?
really good. Like, really, really, really good. So,
okay.
This might just be his tournament that he shows up.
I played against him and LDZ in twos at last BCS.
Double Dime's steady progression at lands, because he attended a lot of them, was more remarkable to me than most players. So I do see what you're saying.
Another thing, I haven't seen Addy play in a while, so it's my opinion's really biased at this point because I haven't. And
nothing happened at Winter Champs.
Daiku happened.
That's fair.
Daiku the Destroyer.
I know Addy has potential, obviously, but I'm just gonna give it to Double Dime here.
I think it's fair too. I think Ethan.
The biggest thing for me, that's like a huge red flag. You think Ethan will beat Sandstorm?
Yes, sir.
Sandstorm on LAN, 100% tournament win rate.
I think Ethan can online. I think
Ethan.
Even after Winters.
Yeah. Even after Winter.
For me, it just feels like Ethan's mentality is holding him back a lot, and any setback in one of those games he just booms and it's over.
And with that like description you gave, the Faison call out makes sense to me too, with how consistent Faison is. Like I could see like Faison dropping game 1 and then game 2 doing some stupid stuff with neutral sig or something, and then don't give me that. And then he just game 3 ends up falling apart completely for Ethan. I could see that. So
yeah.
And I guess the one player that Ethan probably wouldn't have those barriers against could be Sandstorm.
Yeah, could be Sandstorm.
And not to mention that redemption arc of
Vendetta.
your team. See, I'm gonna destroy you. So that's actually cool.
I like the storyline.
Yeah. In fact, this is the most storyline-driven prediction bracket I think I've ever seen. With, of course, you being the hero, you narcissistic, whatever you want to call it. Just like, wait, do you have any? Honestly, your bracket.
Wait.
Doesn't look that hard for you.
Wait. One thing. What's going on with this Egg Soup beating Remy match?
Where's that?
In losers bracket.
Who can't beat Remy?
That's true. We were just talking about that.
Who can't beat anyone?
Okay, but we just talked about how he's a position of inconsistency.
Yeah.
I was saying he could lose around 256.
He lost to Crocky before, like.
Yeah. Actually, I can see it now. I can see it. Also, his inexperience versus Orb, which is what Exu plays.
That's the scary part. It's the Orb, really.
Yeah.
Oh, do we have any players here that you know is cooking up an Orb, or is it all like
Dobrain and Egg?
Isn't Sand? Yeah. Is Sand gonna whip it out?
Sandstorm? No.
Okay.
No. If he does, I don't think he'll do very well.
Oh, okay.
I didn't even think about talking about Fate as a legend today.
It would have been better with Dobreen. We can talk about it next week, I think.
Yeah, that's right. We have plenty of time.
Yeah.
This final round's not even gonna happen. Okay, but like that's like a thing, especially with the signatures. Anyways, that's enough. So nobody that we know for sure that's gonna be whipping out orb
Yeah.
for this.
Well,
Unless
Egg
it's
Soup.
like-
Egg Soup and
for
Dobreen.
sure.
Yeah, Egg Soup for
Oh,
sure,
okay.
Dobreen for sure.
Is that why you've got Egg Soup over Remy because of the orb thing?
Most of all, yeah.
Yeah.
Most
I'm
suffers against not having experience versus certain weapons. When Scythe first came out, like, you know, I mean, he still struggles against Scythe. So. What were you gonna say,
top
Boomie?
8 best of 5?
Yeah, top 8 should be
Yes.
best of 5.
Definitely top, yes. Because I think even at all these events we have our own little. We're not sharing
Sand,
stats,
yeah.
So we can do our own stuff. In fact, I would hope that even more would be best of 5. But I think top 8 for
16
sure.
maybe.
Yeah.
For sure, top 8.
So
I
I'm
don't even know if play over 3 days. Go ahead.
I'm surprised that you have Blood Diamond over Daiku.
Yeah, me too.
Why? Blood is actually insane. He's like
Dude,
a
but
little
Daiku
LDZ.
is turning it up this year.
5th place.
Blood can beat anybody in this game.
It's true.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
fair.
Blood is really good on land.
Yeah, he's
Like,
good on land.
Diamond is so
He's
consistent.
insane.
Mhm.
He has a
Like-
wall of consistency. He's the polar opposite of Remy.
Yeah.
With that.
Even if he's
Sort of.
like consistently 5th, he's
Sort
still
of.
really
Okay,
consistent.
fine.
Yeah.
I want you to fight me, noeL.
Why?
Tell me why that's not the truth.
Oh, talking about
Yeah,
him
yeah,
and
because I was saying that like Blood Diamond is he always plays the way that he
Okay,
plays.
I
I've never
mean-
looked at Blood Diamond and gone like,
Oh,
Kevin,
like talking about
okay.
gameplay wise, I was talking about
Yeah.
results. Like his
Results.
results haven't been like as consistent as they were before.
Okay,
If he
that's
hasn't-
true. I was thinking more of
That's all I
like
was
how he plays. When I
Oh
watch
yeah,
him
absolutely.
play,
He keeps
it's like he's always really stoic about that.
yeah.
Let me
He
ask
just really surprising when he plays. He does like crazy stuff and it works. Yeah. Yep.
But Boot over Starlight?
Yeah. Don't
Really?
sleep on Bath.
Don't
I mean,
sleep on
okay.
Starlight.
No, seriously,
Is it
seriously,
Atlanta
seriously.
storyline?
Yeah, seriously, me
Baboon's-
too.
Seriously, Baboot's been playing ones a lot more than Starlight.
Okay.
There's a pretty decent chance that he.
I agree
Especially-
that there's a
especially
decent
with
chance.
the Brax pick. Like,
Oh, he plays
Brax.
Rax? Yeah,
Whoa,
that.
Yeah.
wait,
that-
Boomie losing in round 2 puts you that far into losers? Wow, that's. Anyways.
Like, don't forget that Starlight lost to Weaver at.
Yeah,
what's
that's
it called?
that's fair.
Oh, come on.
I don't know.
can believe Boomie
I
dying to Wilson.
I played against Starlight in Winter Champs, and that was one of the harder matches that I had to play. This plays really slow. I don't know how Baboot will deal with that.
Hmm.
Damn, actually,
You're right.
the loser of me versus LDZ or Dobrain is like actually has a really hard bracket.
Yeah.
That is tough. Holy cowsers, dude.
Yeah, this is incredibly hard.
Yeah, and then
The Wilson matchup is the most interesting. I like that you said
yeah.
that Boomie loses to Wilson because I could believe that.
yeah, I can believe that too. Wilson is, although he's way more consistent online, consistently like a top 3 player online. On LAN, it's just not the same. I don't think.
Mhm.
Maybe like not comfortable, doesn't have like the things to make him excel.
Didn't he have that one really great 2v2 performance with Steve?
Got
That was like a
Third
long
Third place. Yeah.
Yeah,
Third
that
place.
was,
Yep.
that was a while ago, but I remember that surprise.
and he got 4th in that tournament in 1v1 too.
Yeah. Wilson's really good at 1s and 2s.
Yeah,
Really solid player.
yeah, and him and Blood can do really good in
Oh,
twos
that's true.
this tournament. Yeah.
I think that covers mostly all of it, unless there was something else that was crazy to you.
Yeah, this Aether thing just seems troll. Not gonna
Yeah.
lie.
But hey, it's storylines, okay? That's
Yeah.
good. I watched the Addies. Let's do Addies next.
Yeah, let's do Addys.
Let's get some Addymestic analysis in
Let's see.
the latter part of the final round.
Okay.
Wait, where do I look at Addy?
You go to predictions again, like the tab, and you just click on
Oh, I got you.
Addy's name.
So, Boomie over question mark. I think that's a pretty done deal.
Yes, absolutely.
LDC Dobreen is pretty tough, but I put Dobreen over him just because I just
Yep.
haven't seen LDC. So,
I did the same. Well,
no spoilers.
Yeah.
spoilers. I guess I agree with you. Is that like when it came to the first like row of 32 people, when I look at LDC Dobrain, I go, I don't know.
Mm.
I just had to pick one.
It's a toss
They're both question marks right now.
And it's like the coolest part is that they're seeds 16 and 17.
17.
appropriately. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. But anything crazy down here that you did? Caustic's, that makes sense. He's moving past.
Remy or Blood Diamond over Remy in this one too.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident in that. Like you said, like Blood Diamond is consistent and Remy isn't, so I think that's pretty for sure.
Yeah.
Wilson and Branched. Wilson taking out Ithro.
Oh, you have Wrenched over Wilson. I'm not sure about that. What do you think?
Purely on LAN, I think.
Yeah.
Purely on LAN.
Yeah.
Well, I think that Wrench is gonna do all the Surrey this tournament, and I think he's gonna do
well.
Pretty good job.
Yeah.
Like, as weird as it is, Wrenched has those like moments. Winters was not good for him, even though he like placed better than a lot of players that got like upset or whatever. He still was like, I feel like a person like Wrench would look at that and go like, this is the greatest failure of my life or something. Like he would like take it that seriously. So I think he's got something really cooked up for this. So that I think is appropriate.
I think Isidru Wrench is a toss-up.
Okay.
I have no idea who's gonna win there. Isidru was really good at DreamHack Winter.
That's true.
And then bottom side. A lot of you guys are having phase. I think all of you have phase on over Cake. What about you, Taza? Do you have phase on over Cake too?
We'll have to see.
Just say it, bro.
No.
Okay, you're so stupid. Okay, well, I have Cake over phase on. And...
Looking at this bracket and how it's set up, I would put phase on over Cake as well. Yes.
Yeah, I just think Cake can seriously turn it up and be like insane if he wants to.
For sure.
And that really is scary for me.
This is like a 55-45 for me, so.
Yeah.
Especially because it's best of 3, I think. It can go either way, for sure.
And then...
Sandstorm beating Ethan. Similar matchup, but you're just calling the higher results player making it. noeL Sandstorm. When's the last time that you met Sandstorm at a LAN in bracket, noeL?
He only went to one LAN. I never met him in LAN.
Oh yeah, that's right. It was just PCX. That's because that was the storyline of the whole entire. Like he was on only
I've only
online.
met him
tournament.
online.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
That would be really neat. I want to see Sandstorm play at more
Lands.
obviously.
Yeah, and he's going to with wild
Yeah.
card.
Honestly, this is a very tame prediction. I don't see anything too ridiculous.
It's pretty seed based.
Simba over Remy.
Yeah, it is.
Simba over Remy. Same reasoning, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Remy over Double Dime, just like raw out skill.
Yeah, the only upset you really have here is phase on over Cake.
is that an upset though?
That's what I'm saying.
Seed-wise?
That's what I'm saying. It's like the only upset seed-wise that he's got.
Okay.
Oh,
Like going past the round of 32, where there are some things like Daiku losing a Double Dime, which is understandable. Crocky Simba's pretty close. You had Dobrain winning over LDZ, but everything else here is like you're pretty much trusting the power rankings.
What I'm surprised about is that you're not confident against Costelix going into the rematch.
I have a lot of matchup problems in that. I feel like going into lands is really hard to figure out. Like I think I can definitely take it, but I think Costelix is just more likely to take it.
I can see that too because Gauntlet's Sidelight's like weird into lands, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like just as a move. Think of your
like
position.
your hitbox goes forward like before your hitbox, I think, on Gauntlet Sidelight, so it really suffers from that.
And then like Lance has literally every move in its kit that punishes you off of missing that move.
Yeah, and grounded wise you can't really approach lands, so you kind of just have
That's
to float
tough.
and punish.
And that's a matchup that's unexplored.
You just pick up sword and say, that's what I do.
Boomie noeL, you've got Boomie winning. Respectable.
I can see it. I think Boomie's putting in the work. Sandstorm could win as well, but I think Boomie's been pretty consistent.
I'd like to see noeL wrenched again.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
I want to see that. I love those Asuri Dittos because they're like they're like excruciating to watch. That's the best way I can describe it. Like it looks like it's really painful to play that matchup. Like just how, because like I'll watch you like move in certain ways, but when you're against Wrenched and in the Asuri Ditto, it feels like things start to trudge along at a slower pace just because you have to do that. I don't know like, any other way of putting it. I wish I had some like an example, but the games feel long and hard, I guess.
Yeah.
just difficult. So I have to see how that matchup works out. Because in another world, I'd put Wrenched beating you, but it's
honestly,
so close.
I think I know why. Because okay, so you might be referring to Montreal, right? The last time we played.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, so this is what happened. Let me show you. This is the mind of noeL right now.
Okay. This
All
is
right.
good.
I lose the first set. All right. Yeah, I lose him to him in winners. Shake his hand. I see his hand trembling. I'm like, wow.
Oh shit!
His hand's trembling.
Let me take that face. Like imagine like a sitcom situation where you shake his hand, it zooms in on you, and you're like, what?
Right. Okay. I'm like, okay, this guy was shaking. So in my head, I'm like, all right, if I make it back to him, I'm just gonna play as slow and calm as possible. I'm just gonna like outpace him because he's shaking like a ton. So it worked out like the strategy worked. It just kind of like I played really lame.
So that was the mental like counterpick.
Yeah, pretty much. It wasn't even about like what's the best option or what's optimal, what's not. It was just literally this guy's shaking. I feel like if I make the game longer, he's gonna struggle.
Because see, you're that much more. If you make that many more instances to mess up on, that's that many more.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a really basic thing of just like, oh, the more mistakes I allow him to make, the better chance I have to win.
Yeah.
And what better way to do that than extending the clock? And I like that you clarified that because that is exactly the last set. I remember it being like it's like imprinted in my mind too. I was like, wow, this looks.
I did that on purpose. Yeah.
Huh. That's cool. Thank you for bringing that up. I don't think there's too much more on Addymestic's predictions. Honestly, it's like super
safe.
It's super safe.
Yeah.
Dang it, Addy! I was looking for some memes.
I had some ideas for memes, but
yeah.
I think this is going to be pretty safe.
No, this is, in fact, as much as I'm complaining, this is probably going to be closest to what we're going to see.
Yeah.
In the final round.
Out of all of ours.
Yeah. Like, I don't see noeL's happening ever, honestly. It was, like, the worst. It's the worst thing I've ever seen.
I mean, it could be
I'm sleeping, man.
Okay. We'll see. What were you saying, Addy?
It could be LDC's day. Or I
Yeah. LDC's day.
It's a lot of days. It's a lot of days to happen on one day. But what should we do next, Boomie? You or me?
What do you want?
Let's do Boomie last, I think.
Okay, I'll take mine.
Okay.
Take a look.
So
What stands out?
all of you guys have Remy over Blood, or Blood over Remy. I mean.
Mm-hmm.
You have
it's the consistency argument.
You have Doping over LDZ.
Yep.
Wait, do all of us have Lil Capped or Costlix over Lil Cap? No, Addy has Lil Capped over Costlix. noeL has.
I could see this scenario playing out
Costlix
for
over
me.
Lil Cap.
Oh god.
Don't you? I can see it too.
Yeah, I could see it 100%.
I'm like seeing it. I'm going.
I just hope
no.
if it happens, it's like mad close and I don't just get stomped. Like,
Yeah, I wish we could have done like the 3 O's or whatever. Yeah. I wouldn't
that
imagine.
matters to me a lot.
I wouldn't imagine this being a 2-0. But Phazon for me is the player that's gonna go to final round and people are gonna be like, "Whoa, who is this?" Like he's done it. I think he's going up and he's gonna get to winners finals. And I think that Wrenched is gonna Qatar kid all over you, Boomie, and you're gonna be done. it's like gonna be over. I think it's gonna be rough.
Maybe.
I think if you stick to Diana, personally.
Damn, you have Tiffany over Ethan. I think you're the only person that has that.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
I don't think Ethan is going to do well.
Same.
In once. And it's more of what you talked about, the mentality thing. I obviously don't know him personally, but from what I saw with the results of Winters, and like as much as being the most improved player, I don't know. Like maybe that got to him or something, but like until I see something that makes me go like, Ethan, you're developing something that's making me go crazy or whatever, then I'll say it. But here, I think Tiffany probably just gonna do it then.
Tiffany also plays like very slow.
Mm-hmm.
Can impact your mental. I'm surprised that you have Daiku over Addy, and Daiku over Double Dime too.
I think Winter Champs was
a
a prophecy. I don't.
Why do you
I want you to prove me wrong.
Why do you have Daiku over Double Dime?
That would be like a 2-1, and it would be incredibly close.
Yeah.
It would be so like this is me kind of storylining it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yes, that's a good question. I think that it's going to be...
Final round's going to be fun.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy.
And about the phase-on thing, I definitely think that if he can overcome, like, Cake, then he might have as much momentum, like, as he needs to maybe even win. Maybe even win. Yeah. And honestly, I think he'll beat Wrenched. I think if it's anybody other than, like, Wilson or me in Winners Finals, then he'll probably win that matchup. Because maybe not Koslix. Maybe not Koslix. I think...
I don't know. Phase-on, like... With how he's playing, I feel like Wrenched succeeds the most from that sort of sword player. I think Wrenched, this kind of sword player, is like kind of on a lock.
I think Wrenched mental booms versus Scythe.
Yeah, that's true. You're actually right, and that's what Phase-on would be doing in this tournament.
Yeah, and also Phase-on beat Wrenched in Winners.
That's true. It was a 2-1.
Yeah.
He didn't look dominant to me. That's why I even got, like, I got Phase-on 3-0, like, 2-1ing Sandstorm, but then losing in the best of 5. And then I've got Sandstorm winning it. I think that...
Yeah, Sandstorm's a safe bet to win.
Yeah. The route is obviously very weird.
I can't... But you have Dyke... Wait, what happens here?
What?
How does Dobrain and Daiku play for top 8?
Isn't that funny? When I saw that, I was like, this is definitely going to happen. This is 100%.
So
it always happens. Daiku and Dobrain always team kill each other in the top 8. It happens at every tournament that I've ever seen. Only this time Daiku's going to take the win over Dobrain instead of the opposite way around. That's what I think's going to happen.
So going to the match before that, Lil Cap versus Dobrain, that's happened before and Lil Cap won. And that was at...
I have very low hopes for Lil Cap.
Yeah, actually, I agree with that.
Lil Cap's one of my favorite people at a LAN. He plays so many games. He's got a great mentality. He's playing for fun. He's not really, but like that's the thing. He's kind of like a for fun player to me. And right now, I feel like he's not really gearing towards it. Especially like after the Phase-on split, that made me go like, what? And he did not look good at Winters, and I don't think he's gonna look good at final round either. I have a lot of faith in what Dobrain's been preparing, especially if he plays Orb at all at this tournament.
True.
Yeah. Orb could be a curveball.
Top 3, actually.
Yeah, I can see Dobrain just like running through this lower
bracket. There's a realm where that happens. I'm being very pessimistic for Dobrain in this prediction, but there's a realm where Dobrain could like do some sick stuff, especially if he's the only one developing Fate. His Fate will be playable at final round. Because usually when characters come out, or there's new patches, you play on a previous patch, or you play with certain characters banned. But in this one, Fate's old enough. She's going to be on the table.
You have Addy losing to Koslix. That's sad.
Yeah.
That is sad.
Yeah, but I mean, Addymestic already made the argument for me.
Yeah.
I don't say anything.
Yeah.
I think I will beat Daiku, but I don't know if I'll beat Koslix.
I think you can beat Daiku too. I was kind of jabbing there, but once I saw the Daiku Dobrain moment, I was like, I gotta make this happen.
Yeah, it has to happen.
How are you gonna justify Koslix running through this lower bracket, beating Isidru, noeL, back to back?
Jesus.
That is like so unrealistic for me.
Is that like a momentum argument, or what do you think, Taza?
When's the last time you fought Koslix, noeL?
It might have been Texas.
Austin?
I can't remember. Yeah.
I don't know. I think that there are very few players that have a lock on how Koslix plays. And I don't think noeL or Sidtru know enough yet. Now, you could prove me wrong, and I'm totally down with that. But when I look at how Koslix is playing and how, like, I'm trying to think of the best analogy. It's like, you know how, like, if there's a bad idea, but everybody's on board for it, like in a team game or something, right? As long as everybody's on the same page, it's better to do the bad thing on the same page than have everybody try to do different things. It's sort of like that with how Koslix plays. Koslix for sure just does a thing, and he will do this until he is dead, and it doesn't matter who he's playing against or what. He's refined this playstyle that he thinks is the end-all answer to everybody, and I think that unless you crack that, it's going to be very difficult.
Yeah.
I think he's the only player who describes this to me too. where I watch him, I go like, if I watch Cosmix, I know I'm going to see a bunch of dash forward, dash back, lots of neutral 6 to catch jumps, a ton of sidelight down airs, and just he'll be chasing people off stage at white. The only time he ever goes off stage at white is when people are knocked off early enough by a Dlight Sair to where he could chase them and go for the early KO. He's got like all these things where I feel like, depending on the moment of the game, I could tell you exactly what he's going to do, and he'll do just that. I think that's a strength at the moment. It will later become a weakness, but for final round, it will help him all.
For that exact reason, I think Istru will beat him. Because Istru picks up on that stuff so fast, and he knows his characters, he knows what Sigs can abuse that kind of stuff, and I think that's like unlock for Istru.
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah, Istru's on Bryn still, I think. Maybe Ragnar too.
He can pull out Ragnar as well.
Yeah.
But definitely Bryn and Ragnar.
He's playing Dusk too.
Oh yeah, he is playing Dusk.
Oh.
That's a good
if
point.
he plays,
And it's not bad at all. It's not bad at all, dude.
If he brings that out, then Isidru could definitely like fight against noeL, and that could be a 50-50. Who knows? And then it could change.
If he plays Dust, it'd be like a 60-40 his favorite.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't get that guy.
That's interesting. Yeah, Orb in general, I feel like it's going to be really terrifying. I
Yeah.
feel like a lot of people are going to hopefully dodge the players that are taking those chances. I guess.
Yeah,
For sure.
yeah.
would be scary.
What do you think of the top 3 that I've got laid out?
Phazon, Sandstorm, Wrenched.
Yeah. I could see that.
Can see it
I
happening.
have this like really I don't have any good backup for it other than like ever since Wrench declared that he was going to win an event, I don't think he'll ever place better than second, which is like really weird to me. But like now that like noeL mentioned that thing about the shaky hands thing, like the moment that he wins a tournament is going to be the most incredible thing for him, but until then I never see him actually closing the deal. Like I see him getting really close every time, and then just like he'll get it into his head where he's like, I could win this, and that's when
it's over.
Boom, it's gone. And you can almost see it in how he plays too. I would love to be wrong about that because it would be cool to have another person winning, but I love like I have a love-hate thing for this where it's like Red's just gonna look good all the way, and then just Sandstorm's just gonna like 6-0 him or something.
You're saying like when he says, "Wait, I can win this," he'll like the nerves, he'll stop shaking.
Yep.
No, he will shake.
Yeah. That's I think that's most of the time. That's when you start shaking.
Yeah.
When you feel like you're really close.
Yep.
It's like,
For sure.
oh my god, I actually can win this.
Yeah.
And then if you say that in your head, you're gonna freak out.
I don't think he's gotten past that yet.
Same thing when
Once you get past it, it's gonna be really easy.
Yeah, it's easy. Yeah, exactly. Same thing with like I'm about to lose this. It's the exact same thing.
Right.
Like last stock of a tournament.
Like if someone's coming back on you.
Yeah,
like, I'm about to lose it. Oh,
Yeah.
Man.
And that's thought time that's being used to consider like a thing that hasn't happened yet instead of playing the game. Like that's like to kind of describe the significance of that. It's huge.
Yeah.
But that's what I think is going to happen. I don't think he's over it yet. Brent is very young and has a lot of time and has time to get over this. But currently, no, I don't think he'll win. But I think he'll get very close at this turn, and that's my predictions. It's very different from what we looked at the past two, I think. But I think they're all very likely. Hey, the only things that's kind of memey is I do think Addymestic's going to beat Daiku. I do see our argument with the Sidru Costlix. I would change those two things. But and then the Cake Phazon thing is a really big gamble. But if Phazon beats Cake, I think he'll go all the way.
I can see it.
I can agree.
Last but not least, we've got the Boomster himself.
This is mine, I think. Yeah, so I mean, I predicted me to win. Maybe that's cocky, but
No, you should do that.
I
should after Winters.
I think just like my work ethic is pretty unrivaled by anyone other than like noeL right now.
At the moment, probably, yeah.
It's
I think it's going to take I think it's going to take a month or two for a lot of the North American players to catch up to where you're at right now.
If they
Yeah,
want to.
and Wilson too. Wilson has a really good work ethic. Although his practice, I don't think is like very high quality.
It's optimal.
Yeah, he plays like too much ranked, I think. But
Dang, you got like the opposite of what I did with FaZe on here with Cake. Where like if Cake wins it, he goes.
yeah,
over.
I think Cake has the potential. And then thing with LDZ,
Yes.
like that probably seems pretty troll, but LDZ
Yeah, it
like
does.
he told me and like he was gonna like really work for this one, like really hard.
I see
So-
LDC losing to Addymestic in this case, like in this.
Wait, what did I just do?
I think Addy smashes him.
If
like a really-
anyone,
really
if
sad way.
anybody, if we had to pick a Brawlhalla player that always brings like the best in him, like to every tournament, it'd be LDZ for sure.
Yeah.
The very
Totally.
like he's always at every lane he plays at his very best.
I remember at BCX, I had a moment. I remember like going up to some people and going like, "Oh no, LDZ is going to win," because it felt like it. Like there was a moment where it was like, "Wait,
This isn't
Wait.
happening.
like he's doing everything right."
Yeah,
Oh
'cause,
no.
like a lot of us, like I'm sure Boomie could agree, like even if we win or let's say we do really good in a tournament, that wasn't us 100%.
Yeah.
We weren't at our very best. I feel like LZ, he just has this thing where he's like, if not at his very best, he's better than his very best. Like it's insane. I don't understand.
He does it. It feels like he's never. There's no middle ground. He's like super on or just like AFK.
Just- yeah.
And it's so cool that you
Agreed.
bring that up because I feel like that plagues a lot of people.
Yeah, that plagues a lot of
Almost like-
people.
It's the idea of not being able to give it my all. Like that's how they would describe it. And a lot of people like it's not like they're not trying. It's just they don't know how all the time. Like there'll be moments where you'll see it, and then other times, like you just said, like even though I won this, I wasn't at my peak or whatever, and the peaks will come and go. It's very cool that you described that like his X factor is the ability to do that regardless of where he is mechanically or otherwise.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
And
you
that's-
gotta like.
Yeah,
Oh,
go ahead.
sorry. People
No,
have
I-
to remember like Brawlhalla is a very very simple game.
Mhm.
So there's not much ground he has to cover when he like let's say he's falling behind mechanically or whatever. There's not much ground he has to cover. So I mean, as long as he's able to just outplay his opponent, outthink his opponent, he could always stick around with like the best players.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think where LDZ falters is his experience versus like cheese and like random things that happen. That's the kind of thing that you build like experience and like knowledge against that by playing ranked and like playing rank S stuff like that. Like against like we call them nutters, but like he is seriously like weak to those kinds of players. Like he could
Yeah.
just lose to that.
And to clarify, when we say like ranked others or whatever, it's like people that like you're never gonna see them win a tournament, but they'll take down a top seed and it's just like they'll snuff them out in a blink of an eye.
Yeah.
What the heck
And,
happened?
and you like look at them playing and it's like not standard. It's
Like
like
who would we
really
look at in this
weird.
list that I would call that? I mean Simba was like that.
Jester,
like that for a
yeah,
while.
Simba until last tournament, I think.
Yeah, Simba's graduated. He's graduated from
Tiffany
Nutter
too.
pro player.
Tiffany too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Crocky is a ranked nutter, to an extent, right
Yeah,
now.
Actually, yeah, for sure.
I'd agree.
Like someone that beats me in a tournament and doesn't place top A after beating me, I'm just like, come on.
Yeah, like what?
So what are you doing? Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that perfectly describes what
Mhm.
we're talking about. It's like
Yeah.
stuff's at a top seed. And
Like
that's-
double dime.
Yep.
hmm
Yeah, definitely. Other than that, yeah, I could see the argument for LDZ. Obviously, you can always be a tournament favorite. Like, I feel like you could bet on LDZ in any tournament that he enters, regardless of how long he's played, and nobody would be like, "That's a dumb thing to do." Like, no, you have him beating Sandstorm. Wow, Sandstorm. That's a rough 2019 for Sandstorm if he loses that, and how he lost in Winter Champs.
Yeah, I
Did see
think
that early.
LDZ. Okay, so he's gonna play Ada. At least that's what he's told me, and that makes sense. That matchup is favorable into like everything that is meta right now. I think it's good into Mordex. It's good into guns. It's good into bow. It's just like I'm not sure there's something that people are gonna be able to identify in his gameplay that's like super exploitable. Like LDZ's always known for his offstage gameplay. I think like that's one of his key like characteristics as a player, and that has never gone away. Even when he takes breaks, he comes back and he just like kills you off stage 3 times. And I feel like
his main win condition.
yeah, and I feel like that's something that he's going to be able to exploit on almost all these people that I have him beating in losers. Sandstorm might feel like cocky off stage. Whenever I play against Sandstorm, it feels like he's just disrespectful off stage. Like, he just goes.
Yeah, I agree. I've seen some ground pound stuff that makes me go like, oh, okay, oh no, like
yeah.
Go back, and I'm like, okay. I think the nicest thing that he does is is there like a term for it with Scythe where you do that dash jump pivot ground pound, but then you stop.
Oh.
You know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
I know what you're talking about.
He does this a lot. I like when he does that, but sometimes he'll go too far and then things
Die.
get spooky. He's lost a lot of stock leads off of going off stage and just getting hit on the way
Yeah.
up. That's good. I think honestly, I was expecting more ridiculous stuff out of all these predictions, but these are all potential realities. I'm going to be really excited to see after final round if we look at these back and go like, which one of these
who is the
match?
closest?
That would be
I think so. Something that I have that a lot of you guys don't have is I have Simba top 5.
That's right. You do.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I think that the Simba thing in Winters was a thing. I don't think
A
he's
fluke?
done well to that. No, not a fluke.
Nice.
Like it was a thing. It happened,
Mm-hmm.
and it was deserved. He did play very well, and he beat the crap out of Kostlix. Like I remember like going to that match, I was like, "There's no way Kostlix even drops like more than 2 stocks to this guy." And then, I felt so stupid because he looked really good, but I think he needs a little bit more time. Has he had a LAN placing before?
Nope.
No.
And I think
He got reverse 3-0'd by Remy at B6.
And then back in when he took you out of infamously in winners bracket, like did he even place in that tournament? I don't think he did.
No, he got
Ninth.
ninth, yeah.
Yeah, so like that was
a nutter moment.
I feel like he has a little bit more time. If he does well here and he does well based on what you said, that puts him into the like Simba is a guy
Player, he's solid, yeah.
Yes, but I don't feel it yet. That's why I think Addy and noeL are of similar opinion. You're of similar opinions, I guess.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
I know.
for sure.
I don't see him doing a loser's run like this on his first LAN. Well, not his first LAN, but basically, if you haven't done good in a LAN, I don't see you making big loser's runs.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's where you really see if you're a really good consistent player or not. When you can make a loser's run, that really defines how good you are as a player. I feel like not when you have your good days. You know, it's about how good you are on your bad days.
Although I think his bracket is super favorable. The way that I have it set up, I think that it is very reasonable. At least top 8. Maybe not beating Wilson. Maybe not beating Wilson. We kind of touched on it earlier, but I think Wilson's one of the strongest players right now, regardless of how he plays on LAN. I think
yes.
I think he's like super good. I honestly would argue that he was probably the second best player at winners, but he like mental boomed in losers or something. I don't know what happened with that.
I remember looking at that and going, I think Wilson has a strong chance based on off of work ethic argument alone. It was you then Wilson for me.
It wasn't that close between us, but
yeah. A lot of people like before Winters were also saying like the winner of that match was probably going to go on to win the tournament. So, and that Faison was also in that argument because it was Wilson versus Faison, and then the winner played me, and people were saying like the winner of those 3 would probably go on. So I still think Wilson is a serious contender for this.
Honestly, there's a lot of good players.
Yeah, there's a. It's all about who's on and who's off, and I feel that's why I think like people like me, Sandstorm, and noeL are like safe predictions because we're on more than we're off.
Yeah, you got the results to prove it in the end.
Yeah.
That's what you have to go off of. But at the end of the day, no matter how well people play, you can look at them as like, hey, noeL won DreamHack Winter. And it's like, hey, Boomie won Winter Champs. Sandstorm won BCX. They're likely to win things more because they have what it takes. They've proven it. I think these are all really valid points. I think that does it for final round discussion.
Can we go a little bit into 2v2s maybe?
Oh,
yeah, we can talk about 2v2.
We can. I don't know for sure what teams are going to be there outside of like we don't have like a prediction bracket for it, but we could definitely talk about the teams that we've got.
Okay,
Yeah,
so top side of the bracket is Addymestic and Cake seed 1 versus noeL and iThrow seed 2 or seed 4, And then me and
Right.
Sandstorm versus Phazon and Remy. They're seed 2, we're seed 3.
I think me and Cake will meet you in winners.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that too.
Although noeL, he's sitting here, you know, giving a little smile. I think he's got a very strong chance to take top 2 at this
It
point.
does. noeL was really scary at DreamHack Winter, so.
Yeah, so that's why it's like there's like 3 players that like these 3 teams are almost definitely going to be top 3, but in what order? Oof.
What do you... Go ahead.
Boomie and Sandstorm are going to be on top on winner's side. So I guess it's just going to be like, does Cake and Addy make it, or does noeL and Ithor make it? And I think it depends on how the winner's semis is set up. Really.
Well, about that, I wouldn't be confident that me and Sandstorm are even, like, a lock for even top 3 at this tournament. Well, if you go back to 2016, the first tournament me and Remy played together, we actually got 3rd, and that was, like, very fortunate for us. Like, I wouldn't even say we were a top 3 team at that tournament. If you remember, like, it's way back, but Remy clutched, like, this insane 2v1 that he never should have won in winter semis. And I don't know, like, we haven't been practicing. We haven't played a single time since winter champs, me and Sandstorm.
Okay.
And I don't know. I'm just not, honestly, I'm just not that confident.
You got about a little less than a month.
Yeah. Yeah, there's time still, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
But I like that you're giving that like personal insight, because that's something that we can't get on a lot of other teams. Well, I guess we can technically. The 3 teams that I'm talking about.
I'm worried about
Oh.
I'm worried about Phazon and Remy showing up and just like stomping everyone.
Oh yeah. Is
I'm
Cody
like super
Travis
worried about
gonna
that.
have his teammate there?
Yeah, Cody and
Issy,
Issy.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
super
actually a
scary.
favorite too. Wait, no, 2's is gonna be sick.
Yeah, 2's is gonna be really close.
Oh, I'm so excited. I actually can't say now because I didn't think about it, but we have everybody that was like impressive in Winter Champs in attendance.
Yeah, except for Blue and
besides
Simple.
Viper and Axo.
Blue and Simple.
Oh yeah, that's
those are
right.
cool.
And Viper and Axo usually do well at the lands, but they're not going to be there either.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think that just about does it for final round and all of our discussion points for today. Boomie, if you got anything else,
Did you want to talk about that specific match or no?
I think for today we had a lot more that we talked about than I originally
Expected, yeah.
expected. I think we did a good job about it. I think in like, all right, so we're entering like a little bit of like a post zone. This has been the majority of the podcast. This was our premiere thing, and like giving it a shot to see how it works. I think it worked really well. I'd love to be able to hear feedback on like, I had an idea for being able to do like VOD review where we had matches that we watched, and we could watch one if we wanted to, but it never really came up. But like in the future, if we're talking about a player or an instance, we should be like, let's go watch this match between Phazon and Sandstorm or something, and maybe we'll do that. And if you guys are interested in seeing things like that, we could try it. I think if you, because how long have we been live? About an hour and a half?
Uh,
Oh, has it been longer than that?
yeah, no, it's an hour and a half.
Hour and a half?
Yeah.
We could try it if we wanted to, but I just don't think it's like in the.
Yeah, it's not.
I think this felt pretty well rounded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also think it's better to go like back when we're doing an episode right after a tournament, and we can talk about things that actually happened like super recently.
That's true. Yeah, that'd be a great
Yeah.
point.
Should do one after final round for sure.
We're gonna be doing one at final round, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully we can do
Yeah,
one at final
that'd
round.
Be pretty sick.
That'd be sick.
No. Well, I think that'll be just about it. Thank you, everybody, for
Yep.
watching. I think that this went well enough to where we'll upload it on YouTube, and it'll probably be on your channel, right, Bowie?
Yeah.
So we'll be able to catch it within a few days. I'm not really sure how that works. I know we can't do it immediately after Twitch, but and then we'll make this a weekly thing, and we'll get a little bit more about how we'll round it out to talk about a lot more things related to Brawlhalla. Today was the esports talking about the players cast, but in the future we might have things about specific legends, maybe small mini tutorials or things where Boomie shows me some things. Depending on the guests that we have, we might talk about specific weapons. It's gonna be really exciting. I'm glad that all of you were able to make it out. I see we have a decent viewer count for the first episode. I'm really excited that we were able to do this. Thank you so much, Addy and noeL,
Yeah,
for being
thank you
able
guys.
to be here today and giving us your individual input. It was
Thank
actually
you.
really insightful. I think we covered some things that were like player psych related that might help not only you guys but everybody else that was watching. I think it was great.
Yeah, it's cool. Thanks for having us.
Oh, no problem. With that, Boomie, why don't you sign us off?
Okay. Thank you guys. Peace.